Welcome, kayak anglers, to our video podcast. This episode is sponsored by our friends at Payne Outdoors. No nonsense, straight talk, outdoor analyst, and custom plastics. Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle, custom made jigs and Ned rigs. Feel free kayaks. Pedal, paddle, or power, there's something for everyone. And Yak Gadget, proudly supplying you with American-made kayak fishing accessories and gear. Now, let's join our host, John Rapp.
Good evening, guys. Sorry about running off a little bit late today. We're trying to get Mark Edwards online. Where he lives at back in Pipestem, it's hard to get the signal every once in a while, so we're hoping we can work out a few technical difficulties and get him online. This is episode 14 of the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. So, welcome. Make sure if you get a few moments, join us in our conversation today as we talk about the West Virginia Kayak Anglers Angler of the Year race. We got the top 3 guys on. So smash that share button. Chris Payne will be on too. Maybe bake a cake of who knows what, but it'll be good. And like, share, comment. Let's make this an interactive show. We want to hear from you. So without further ado, I believe we're going to bring on the first place angler at this point in time for Angler of the Year, Storm Carver. So let's run Storm Carver here. His bio. What do you say, Stormy?
What's up, buddy?
Okay, man. So West Virginia Kayak Anglers 2-day championship. It's going to be a good one. So 2 days. Stonewall Jackson, Stone Cold Reservoir. Stone Cold Reservoir is my favorite lake in the state. Bar none. I like it better than Bluestone. I like it better than Summersville. It's my favorite lake. First place I ever fished, about 3 years old. I don't know if you've ever been there. Have you been there?
Yeah, I went for the first time. I've actually been there twice now in the last.
Okay, good. That means you don't know where my spot is. You can stay out of my spot. Yeah, but I mean, so you, I know you're the leading angler up to the last tournament of the year. You got Mark Edwards nipping at your heels. Jeff Sisk is here too. He'll be able to talk about what he plans on doing to try to beat the storm. And then, how'd you like that play on words? That was pretty good. But
That's pretty good.
yeah, but then we got, there's a couple wild cards too. You got Amos Hicks and Joe Farson that are lurking in the background. If they have a monster 2 days, they could sneak up on you guys. So what are your thoughts, man? Day 1, Stone Cold.
It's gonna be an interesting weekend. This weather change and then adding in all the pressure on Stonewall this weekend, and
yeah,
I'm kind of glad I drew Stone Cold first. Don't get to deal with that mess, but
thank you, Greg Kushner. I appreciate that.
But it should be a pretty fun weekend. I'm excited. I've been counting down the days since Jackson County to this, so I'm ready to roll.
Well, so we've fished 4 or 5 events.
Yeah, 5
up to this 2-day championship. And what is your worst finish this year?
Worst so far was 13th on the cheat.
So we're trying to throw out a 13th place with a much better tournament here. So Storm's got a 13th he's got to get rid of. I'm going to write that down talk to Jeff, and hopefully we get Mark on here so we can get his comments. So Stormy, last year you stormed the stage. You came on. It was your first year of tournament fishing. You've been around, you've been watching, we've talked, you've fished, but you jumped in. You brought Bunny, you brought Philip. Now it seems like you guys got a whole little posse. Every time we hit a campground somewhere, and I see you, Jeff, Mark, Rick Garavaglia, or Garavaglia. I'll get that right, Garavaglia. I mean, all you guys are hiding over somewhere on the corner of the campground, tearing boats up, restringing 50 poles, and just joking and having a good old time. And I like to call that, and I'm sure it's what you guys call it, it's called fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see that. It's good to see that. I think we need to bring more of that into fishing, and I'm glad that you guys are doing that. For any of you guys that would want to understand what I'm talking about, Rick is one of our club chaplains, and he always uses his influence, hopefully, to help us all be watched over when we're on the water, as well as Stormy and the rest of the gang. So, but I'm talking too much. This is not why I'm on here. What do you guys normally plot? What is the plotting that you guys are always doing over there?
We're just always running our mouth about everything. Talking about trying to get in each other's head for a tournament, just picking each other's brain. That's what I like.
Does it go both ways? I mean, are you picking and you're picking?
Oh, absolutely.
I figured. Knowing you.
Never.
But yeah, so I mean, you want to give away any secrets for this weekend? I know you don't have any secrets for Stone Cold. You fished it twice, but I could use some on day one. I'm on Stonewall.
Well, to be honest, I haven't even really fished Stonewall all that much. I could probably count on my hand how many times I've been on Stonewall. I just haven't had very much experience up there, but I got a pretty good idea of where I'll be. I feel pretty good about it, but hopefully it'll work out. I think it's weather change. It should help what I'm wanting to do.
I suspect, you correct me if I'm wrong, because you're a well-versed angler. Ledges.
That'll play into it.
I don't think the water temperatures dropped. Say again?
Ledges and walls will be the main focus.
Yeah. Colors. You want to share some colors?
I'll just say natural. Say very natural.
Hey, everybody! That was a tip from Storm. Tip from the Storm. Natural colors. I'll go one step better, and I'll tell you what Jody Queen always told me: you can't go wrong with black and blue. This time of year, he always said, this time of year, the wasps are dropping in the water. What color are wasps? The bees dropping in the water, and so.
Hey, I love him.
So anyway, yeah, man. West Virginia Lip Ripper. I'm pretty sure that's Nathan. He says, "What's up, fellas? Great guys at the top." So he's wishing y'all well. I'm sure. I don't know if he's out on the barge, hauling somewhere down the rivers, catching catfish off the back of that monster barge or what. But he's wishing us well. Hopefully, we'll see him if he's up there. I know you're getting ready to go to a concert. You will go see ZZ Top?
Yeah, I got to go run the ZZ Top with Emily. We're gonna go watch them for a little while.
Awesome. Well, you guys enjoy, and I will hopefully we get Mark on. We can talk as a group, but if not, thanks for coming on. Enjoy. You got any final parting words, just in case? Final parting words of wisdom for the folks that are watching about your possible victory.
Woo! Keys for this week is going to be beat Mark and Jeff. That's tall task anywhere we go. And Jeff and Mark are great, but
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to fish clean and make the most of every bite. But when don't we do that? But it'll be a grind, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend.
I pretty much think that all of you guys have had that kind of a clean season to be able to where you're at now. I mean, you have to be able to fish clean with the competitors that we fish with. And, I mean, there's a lot of good sticks in our club. Everybody's capable of winning. Everybody's probably won. But you, Mark, Jeff, have routinely been in the top 10. And that's why you're the guys in the top of the rankings. So, I'll see you Friday. I wish you well. You can find me and Gillespie in the electric-only section behind the store.
I'll be looking off the water.
Sounds good, man. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. We're going to go to commercial here real quick. Check and see what's going on in the background on Discord. See if we got Marky Markup rolling. If not, then we're going to bring on Jeffrey Sisk, who is in currently third place for Angler of the Year.
Payne Outdoors, straight talk, an outdoor product analyst.
Hey, John, I think I am going to have to run. Emily texted
Check
me.
out our reviews and products at our website, Payne Outdoors.
See you Saturday, buddy.
See you Saturday, buddy. Good luck.
Feel Free Kayak.
Thank you.
Something for everybody. Pedal, paddle, or power. We can outfit you to meet your needs. For more information, visit feelfreeus.com.
Kayak Gadget offers all kinds of kayak accessories such as motor mounts, anchor systems, and other track-based items to make your time more enjoyable on the water. Visit their Facebook page, search Yak Gadget.
Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle specializes in jigs and Ned-style lures. Brothers who know what it takes to put fish in the boat. Check out their Facebook page. Search Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle.
All right, I'm back. And before we bring Jeff on, I am going to try something extremely wild. Okay? So give me just a second. I am actually going to see if I can bring up my Facebook page. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna see if I can get Mark on Facebook. I don't know if it's not gonna let me. Edge Chrome base start computer. Not gonna let me. So let's go ahead and jump off here. And I'm gonna go ahead and get Jeffrey loaded up, and let's run Jeffrey's promo. And then we'll see what he's got going on. Hey, Jeffrey. How you doing, big guy?
Hey, John. How are you?
Good, buddy. So, I know you could not watch what was going on while I was interviewing Stormy, but you could hear everything that young man had to say. Of course, I know you, and Mark are always seen together pre-fishing, after pre-fishing, at the campgrounds, talking, fellowshipping, and I think it's an absolute wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite parts of the tournament kayak fishing is the guys and ladies that you meet doing it.
Well, I mean, so you guys are always somewhere talking. When I did the Cheat River interviews, I mean, I came back here and I found you guys in the back corner of the campground. Y'all were over there talking. And so what are normally the topics of conversations with you guys? Are y'all ribbing each other or sharing secrets or what?
Well, it's pretty much all fishing related. But yeah, it's usually not anything real specific before a tournament.
After the tournament, do y'all talk about specifics?
Actually, most of the guys will tell you what they caught them on.
Yeah. That's one thing I do like about our group is that knowledge is freely shared.
Yes, it is.
But everybody always holds a honey hole. They'll hold that one pocket or a honey hole. But I might tell you where 2 or 3 good spots are, but I won't tell you my honey hole.
No, you got to keep a little something back.
Yeah, it's almost like that karate teacher, When that karate teacher, when he teaches the student, he always has that one move that he knows he can put you down on. So
yeah, got to keep something in your back pocket.
You've had a great year this year, man. You won first place at the Bass Quarter Regionals. You finished 3rd and 4th at a couple of WKA events. So, with the Angler of the Year, I know we throw out our worst tournament. So, what currently is your worst finish this year?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm thinking it was like 22nd.
Oh, so you actually, if you and Stormy would finish the same, and you throw that tournament out, you're going to gain ground on him. Because his is 33rd or 13th. So if it's 2 points, and let's say you both finish like 10 or 11th, you're actually going to gain 8 or 9 points on him, 10 points. I don't know what the scores are.
But him and Mark have a pretty good lead. My best chance of catching either one of them is probably if they get lost on the way to the ramp Saturday, maybe.
Well, Stone Cold was a finicky lake. Have you had any opportunities to fish that reservoir?
I actually went up about a week and a half ago, and that's the first time I'd ever even seen the lake. And I was actually really surprised of the fish in there.
Hey,
I've never.
That without a doubt, that lake has the most quality fish of all species that you can find anywhere in West Virginia. Like,
I'd have to agree.
It's got state record muskie in it. State record muskie. There's walleye in there longer than your arm. And I've watched bass swim around, smallmouth, swimming around the edges that are a good 21, 22 inches long. I have not caught any big largemouth in there, but as I've paddled out or paddled in, guys have caught them. And they're back, if you can find the grass and you can find the lily pads, they've had success there. But they're all over that lake. We know that. We're all anglers. We've been around it. But that lake holds, it's like a mini Bluestone with better quality fish.
Yeah. I actually, when I was up there, I caught all 3 species that day when I was there, and all of them were really healthy looking fish.
Yeah.
Nothing huge, but all real quality fish.
So, secrets. What colors,
there he is.
What colors you throwing, Bubby?
Can't go wrong with green pumpkin.
So, if you just noticed that, my friends out there in Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube land, Jeff just told you to throw the most common color there is because he don't want to give you no secrets.
No, there's not much secret to that. But, I'm not much of an authority on it, like seeing as I've only fished it one time. So,
well, I figure any man that can fish. This is your 3rd year or 2nd year fishing with us?
It's my 2nd full year.
Now,
I fished one tournament before that.
That's what I was thinking. So last year, you won a couple of tournaments. They were online challenges, but I know you won one fishing the Kanawha River. And everybody knows the Kanawha River is a garbage river. But
Yeah, for
you,
the most part.
yeah, but you have a honey hole somewhere, some clean water, somewhere down in the region of West Virginia that I'm pretty familiar with, but that holds a lot of different species too. And I mean, it holds smallmouth, it holds some largemouth, primarily smallies, but some large. And I know there's a lot of muskie down there. Did you happen to run into any muskie up at Stone Cold?
No, I didn't. I know there's plenty of them in there, some big ones, but I never saw any when I was there.
So I'll tell you a little story. A couple years ago, Beth and I were up there, and she was in back one of the coves, and she was pitching a jig because it was a deep cove. And she had her foot in the water, and she was fishing, and she brought that jig in, and she reeled it in, and she was fixing her, and she getting ready to cast again. She looked down, her feet was in the water, and there was a muskie, probably about a 40-inch muskie. She said it was longer than my arm. Was just about a foot, about 2 or 3 feet, looking toward the boat, and her foot was in the water. She said she about jumped out of the boat into the water, jerking her foot back in.
I bet.
So I mean, but I know you've caught muskie. You've down in your neck of the woods, and there's some good fish down there too. But I really look forward to seeing if anybody is throwing a spinner bait or a chatter bait or something, and they land into a good one here this week.
Yeah, Mark seems to catch him wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Blame him.
Blaine too. Yeah, I suspect when one of those two guys will come to the ramp and say, "Yep, it happened." So
Yeah.
okay. Any predictions?
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. Mark's hard to bet against anywhere he goes, and Stormy's had a really good year too.
The way Storm's coming along, he may be the next Mark Edwards. I mean,
He's well on his way.
he
Yeah.
sure is. So especially he's planning on doing, and like we were talking in the background earlier, I really think that you guys, especially you, with your experience, because I know you're primarily a river guy, and you're doing lakes, but man, you need to hit some of these KBF and Hobie events, and because I really,
I'm gonna give it a shot next year. Try some hopefully, and I'm trying to work on my largemouth game a little more.
yeah.
So
Well, hey, if you're going to be able to stick around, we'll do the fireside chat. If not, no worries, buddy. I know you're a busy man, and appreciate you taking a few minutes to come down and hang out with me here on the Rusty Hook Podcast, Kayak Fishing Talk Show, and give us your thoughts on the weekend event. Are you going to do better on Stone Cold or Stonewall?
I would have to say Stone Cold.
Yeah, I'm hoping that one pulls for me too. So, well, thank you, buddy, and appreciate you being on the show tonight. And good luck this weekend. I'll see you Friday.
Thank you, John. See y'all.
Okay, that was Jeff Sisk. He is currently ranked number 3. Let's take a quick break, and I'm gonna see if I got Mark on. If I don't, then we will go to break, or we will talk to Chris Payne. So.
Payne Outdoors, straight talk, an outdoor product analyst and custom soft plastic
Turn
maker.
your camera sideways, Mark.
Check out our reviews and products at our website at payneoutdoors.com.
What? Diggity.
There he is.
Feel-free kayaks. Something for everyone. Pedal.
So y'all can hear me now?
We can outfit you to meet your needs.
I had to
For more
redo
information,
the
visit
app.
feelfreeus.com.
Didn't update it.
Yak Gadget offers all kinds of kayak accessories such as motor mounts, anchor systems, and other track-based items
Yeah, I had to
make
do it
your
again
time more
yesterday.
enjoyable on the water.
Yeah,
Visit their
well, I
Facebook
guess we
page,
were on
search
a few
Yak
months
Gadget.
ago. It was just frustrating. I just kept
All right,
hitting
guys.
the button and nothing was
Hey, we're
happening.
back on the show here, and I know I cannot lie. I cannot lie. Marky made it. You guys could hear him talking in the background because he was very ecstatically saying, "I made it." And but you can't see the other screen I got over here where I got Marky Mark, I got Jeff. Chris is busy in the background smacking some plastics around, but they can see each other, and that's why you hear them talking. That's not a big deal. Marky, are you ready, baby?
Oh yeah.
All right, let me enlarge you. We'll put you big screen here, and we're going to run your promo, brother. There he is, sitting with all those secret baits hidden behind him. Mark, welcome to the Rusty Hook Podcast. We've got a name since you were on last time, bro.
All right.
Hey, so I've already talked to Jeff online. Folks have been able to comment. We've got Jeff's thoughts. Now, obviously, in the last 18 months, Mark Edwards is the hottest kayak angler in West Virginia. Tearing up the tours with the WVKA, MSKA, and Southern West Virginia guys. If you've had a bad finish anywhere, it was probably because you drove 24 hours to get back from another tournament and didn't get out of bed till 9 a.m. the next day. And then when you tried to go fish your spot, you couldn't get across the bridge because it was closed. But, Mark, you're going to have to impart some wisdom, brother. What's going to happen this weekend?
Well, it's going to be tough with the front coming through and this rain, and it's the first cold snap, well, I guess we've had this year.
Yep.
Because normally in September we usually already have some cold nights and stuff, and we haven't had that yet. So I fished Stonewall a few weeks ago, just for my monthly, and I hit I hit an area that I never hit on there, just to see it, So now I've actually fished it from a boat or a kayak, every bit of it, every inch of it. So
yeah, I know that's one of the first places you met me was out on Stonewall about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. And see, I've always worked the hunting and fishing show for 7-8 years there, the same weekend, the end of September when it mainly was. And so I fished Stone Cold a few times in the morning before I'd go to the hunting and fishing show. So I know both them lakes that time of year a little bit. I mean, I'd fish a few hours in the mornings and stuff.
Well, based off that comment then, you're sitting in second place. I don't know. How many points are you behind Stormy? Do you know?
We're tied.
Are you tied? Okay. So he must
okay,
be,
yeah.
He's winning by big fish. Okay.
Yeah, if you take away our least amount or worst finish or whatever, it makes us tied.
Okay. Well then I would have to think that maybe you're the favorite since you've got more experience on those waters than him.
Stormy's really good.
Yes, he is. You have any tips or tricks? You're starting off on Stone Cold. I'm out on Stonewall. I got to compete with the bass boats while you get to go over and get to putt around with the 5 horsepower vehicles.
But I really think Stone Cold, from what I've seen of it, I caught a lot of 15-inch fish there. I've never caught a big fish, I've seen some pictures of some, but there's a lot of 15-inch fish in there.
Yeah.
So my goal is to get 5 15-inchers. If I come out of Stone Cold with 75 inches, I'll be really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's decent. I mean, realistically, anything over 70 would be good. And then I listened to you and Jeff, and I really think Stonewall is going to decide it. I mean, Stonewall has some really big fish in it, and there's a chance you could get 90 inches out of Stonewall. So that's what I'm hoping, but realistically, it's going to be tough. and I haven't really decided where I'm going to fish on Stonewall yet. Stone Cold only has 2 ramps, so you ain't got much choice.
You ain't got much choice there, right? You're right. The guys with the motors on Stone Cold will have the advantage because they can get past the guys in the pedals and paddles. They can get back to the other ledges and other coves that it may take me an hour and a half to get to. You can get back here in 25 minutes. So I was thinking, as I'm watching you here, and I know you always carry between 12 to 15 rods with you, but I don't see anything in the background that gives me any inkling of what you're going to throw, and I'm really disappointed in that. So I'll have to ask you, have to talk to you about this. And you're already smiling, and I know you're biting your lips because that means, the old trooper in me says he's going to lie, John. He's going to lie. He ain't going to tell you he's going to throw top water or he's going to throw a Cinco or black and blue. But I'm really, and I know all the guys at home are screenshotting your stuff and they're trying to figure out what you got, because I would say everything that's on your wall is the same. And they're looking to see if there's only 1 bag instead of 5 bags. Because if there's only 1 bag, it's very possible you've already stuffed that away to go up north.
Most of my stuff on the wall here has been there for like 10 years.
Oh, heck. You ruined it for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a tackle junkie, so I got like a lot of tackle. But my saying is the biggest key in fishing is confidence. That's the best lure in fishing. And like each day, you don't really know. Like if it's a sunny day, they should be on structure, next to wood cover and fish shade, which is just common. And they should hit a shaky head or jig or something like that. But every day's different, and that's why I carry so many rods, because, I mean, like a lot of times you'll be throwing a moving bait, say a chatterbait or a spinner bait, and they're barely nipping it, and you're barely hooking them. Then you could, change up to a shaky head or a jig, and then they'd be eating it better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I got so many rods and stuff, and that's why I don't lean on one thing. I let the day, I mean, it doesn't matter what you throw. If you shouldn't throw something very long and not get bit. I don't throw something very long and not get a bite, really. You know what I'm saying? Unless the conditions are really, really bad.
If you were paying attention there, folks, he came this close to letting the secret slip. This close.
This past weekend, I mean, my biggest fish come on Cincos. So,
were you throwing it up on the ledges and letting it float down? Were you dead sticking them, or?
No, what happened? Me and Blaine fished one hole in New River. Like, it wasn't very big, and we just done circles around it. But
yeah.
What happened was I got to finding out where the fish was. You seen them; it was real clear, and then you just let them set up for 10 minutes, and you go back over there and make a long cast, and they would eat.
Yeah, a good river fisherman knows if you got a good hole of water, the fish will reset. They move
every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blaine was making a lap. He would lap me. I fish a lot slower than him, but he said he'd catch fish every time he'd go back over his water again.
That's awesome.
And I went over on his side just one time, but I caught up when I went over on his side.
Awesome, brother. Well, so Stormy and you are tied, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun event, but anything can happen. I mean, I could drop my phone or not get my fish loaded. Anything can happen, and
you can't win it on the first day.
Just anything can happen.
You can't win it on the first day, but you can sure lose it. So
yeah. That's a fact, and that's the main thing. The first day, you just don't want to. You just want to keep yourself in it for the last day.
Exactly.
Yeah, and with these conditions, it's going to be sunny, post frontal. It's going to be It's going to be tough, but the fish are there. If you just get 5 of the right bites, then you could. I was guessing today. I would guess both days it's going to take 150 inches.
I was thinking 155.
I mean, that's my guess.
Yeah, to win 155, 160. I think you can be in the money if you're over 150. What is there? There's what, 40 of us?
38 maybe.
38.
He broke it down this evening. I counted 19 in each group.
Okay, so yeah, so I'd say he may pay out 4 spots. I'm not sure, 3, very minimum 3. So yeah, excellent. So figure you need to stay in the hunt. You need at least 60 inches at stone cold, and then hopefully you can go get 80 at 85 at stone wall. But anything less than 60, you're going to be. It really depends on all 3 of you need a bad day, right? I mean,
yeah. I'll give a hint. Stone cold has some big smallmouth.
Yes, it does.
Some really big smallmouth.
And
I personally never caught. I've never caught a big one there, but they're there, so I want to try. I want to spend most of my practice over there just because I don't know a whole lot about it.
Well, I don't know who has the best relationship with Eric Cormack between you guys, but I would make a phone call.
I'm good. I don't like dock talk. I don't like. I mean, like you can. I tried to help Jeff at the Mud River there a month ago, and I can say I ended up doing what I told him to do, because I started at Elk Fork, and there was so many people there. I was like, I ain't fishing with. I knew there was 67 people, and there was 47 at the ramp at Elk Fork. So I just loaded up and went to the O'Brien, and I've been catching most of my fish right at the ramp at O'Brien, not far at all from the ramp. But I didn't do very good to start with. I didn't catch them there to start with. But I thought they were there. I mean, you think the fish are there, but the fish will bite if you put the right thing in front of it. The fish will bite. You just got to put the right presentation in front of them. And you was talking about motors there earlier, and it's such an advantage of fishing hands-free in a kayak.
Yeah.
I mean, even the pedal drive is so much of an advantage just because you're hands-free. I don't know how. Out of all my years kayak fishing now, there's only one tournament I've ever fished where I just used a paddle. And I didn't do too good.
And is that the tournament you borrowed the boat?
Well, the first 2 tournaments I did borrow, I borrowed a boat. I forgot about them, but that one time we fished a different club, and it was like pond hopping, and I picked a pond on Google Maps. It was probably almost a half a mile away from the road, and drug my kayak over there, and it was the biggest pond on Google Maps. So I'm like, oh, it's got to have big fish. And I really probably worked the hardest out of anybody getting over there and fishing it, but there were just not no big fish in it, or I couldn't catch them.
All right, Marky. Well, appreciate your insight, man. I wish you the best of luck. I'll see you Friday. I'll be coming up Friday to the campground, setting up, and then head out to the water. And look forward to hearing from you Saturday evening and seeing how your day went. If you can, stick around. Chris is going to be on here next, and we're going to make some baits. Might bring you on, and maybe you can give you some suggestions there. So, but hang tight, guys. That was Mark Edwards, and let's take a quick segment break, and then we're going to bring on my good friend Chris Payne from Payne Outdoors.
This episode is sponsored by our friends at Payne Outdoors.
I gotta go, John. I gotta get my grandson off the football field here.
Custom plastics.
All right, Jeff.
Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle. Custom-made
Chris.
jigs and Ned rigs.
Deal.
Feel-free kayaks. Pedal, paddle, or power.
Me and Jeff's going to
Something for
room.
everyone.
We got a
Kayak
deal in.
Gadgets, proudly supplying you with American-made kayak fishing accessories and gear. Now, let's join our host, John Rapp.
All right, I'm back, and Jeff and Stormy are gone from the Discord page. We've got Chris up now. Let's run his promo, and let's see what he's got going on in the kitchen. Hey, what's up, Chris Payne?
What's going on?
Hey, buddy, how's Texas doing?
Still hot. It was 100 degrees yesterday again. So
You
yeah.
don't want to know what we've had up here, buddy.
Well, I would, but I know what you deal with in the winter, and I don't want any part of that.
Hey, so we got a nice camera feed today. We're looking at the kitchen, and it looks like you're doing doing a little cooking, Big Daddy. What you got going on?
Yeah. So we did a thing, a contest on TikTok to do 4 new colors, and have chosen those 4 colors and are giving them away to the winners who name those colors and 5 additional packs of baits. I've already dropped 2 of them, and they're available on the website. So those are out there. Our combat green and our candy bug. And I just actually, I told you when we came on that I was fighting with this other color. We call it Wizard. It's kind of an Elder's Magic looking color. We call it the Wizard. And it's a mix of different greens and all kinds of stuff. But I think while the other guys were talking, I've got it to where I want it.
Awesome.
It only took me 8 tries. 8. So I've killed 16 cups of plastisol trying to get this color right, but it's worth it in the end. So I'm not sure how well it'll show, but with the light, you can see it's a laminate color, and it's got a lot of sparkle on the bottom side, and then the top of it is this dark. So it's a green pumpkin with black and purple flake on the top.
Yeah,
and then the bottom, is got chartreuse in it. You can really see it on the laminate. Chartreuse and watermelon, and then it's got all kinds of different colors of flake. And so the bottom of it mimics the belly of a bluegill, and the top of it is kind of like the top. And so what this is designed to do with this laminate, really different, is you can get based on if it's sunside or outside, and which side falls. So when it's hooked. So if you have a sunny day, you're going to want the glitter side down, and if you have a cloudy day, you're going to want the glitter side up.
Nice.
And that gives a better profile in the water. That wasn't what I wanted to talk about today, but I'm super glad I got that done. I'm actually wanting to talk about something that I've taken up recently. It's something that I actually learned from Mike Iaconelli about 3 years ago, and just now getting around to teaching it to myself. And that is actually fishing micro jigs. So as a 1/4 ounce head, I'm old school. That's a bitsy bug. For you guys that have been around a little while, familiar with Denny Brower and that kind of stuff. The bitsy bug, it's got a wide enough hook to be able to catch bigger fish on it, to hook into that jawbone, and it's sharp enough. It's got a lot of play side to side in the weed guard, which is really nice. That means I don't have to trim it down. It acts like it should. It's a small enough profile that it mimics a crayfish that will catch you those 15 inchers, but also the 20 inchers. So a lot of times if you're throwing a jig, you're fishing for 8 or 9 bites in a day. If you're fishing a big jig, unless you just happen on a school. But this will catch schooling fish. This will catch, cruising fish. This will catch suspended fish. So what's important about it is I don't ever fish this little guy bare. I always have a trailer on it. And depending on what the fish are doing with the bait, depends on the size of the trailer that I'll put on it. So I make a couple of different ones. This is a 4-inch netty long legs. It's got these appendages on it that have little paddle tails on the bottom of them. I fish this on a Ned rig, on a Ned head all the time. But on the back of this jig, it sits up like that, and it's got kind of a ribbon tail. So a subtle flutter, not a big thump. And so it swims through the water pretty smooth. Then I've got something a little bigger. So this is our grappler grub, similar to the Strike King Rage Menace. It's got it's designed with these bubbles on the top of it, so they're out. They pop out, which gives it additional ribbing and vibration through the water. And what I'll do is, if I were to put this on the Bitsy Bug like that, that's a pretty long trailer. And so a lot of times I won't do that. What I'll do is I'll bite off 1.5 inches of that, and I'll just fish the bottom half of it. And what that does is that acts when these two little flippers here come through the water, it's got kind of a dolphin kick to it that looks just like the back of a crawfish when they're trying to get away. It's got that kind of wave action to it. That's really what I got into them this weekend on. They wanted that wave action. They didn't really want the swim. They wanted that fleeing crawfish. They were tucked up in grass, really tight. The sun was high. It was hot. And basically, I just dropped it in there, let it sink right in the grass. And then as soon as I cleared the grass, I could feel it clear the grass. It was like somebody yelled "go" or a gunshot went off at the beginning of a race, because those bass would come out and get it. All of the bass I caught on that jig were between 16 and 19 inches this weekend.
Wow, that's awesome.
On that little bitty jig. Probably my favorite one to fish on that is something I just poured up that I've been working on here. I went ahead and shot it, and it's our murder hornet. And so that murder hornet is very versatile. Those other baits I showed you, you can trim them down in size, but you can't really change the action, right? And so the murder hornet, let me show you what's great about that. So this is the murder hornet as it comes in the package. It's got that kind of big spade tail on it, and it'll do that flipper action. It's got these 6 appendages that come off the side of it with little balls on it, which give you a little bit of flutter. But let's say we want to take it up a notch and we want to really piss some bass off. What you can do is all of these attachments on the side come all the way separated. And now what I've got is all of this is separate. And so in the water, it's like a mop jig. And it does this kind of number. So if the flutter kick is not getting them done, and I need to really tease them, and I'm having to stitch that bait real slow, what I'll do is I'll put on a murder hornet, and I'll separate those out, and it'll piss those bass off. It looks almost like a gill flare when it's in the water, and those bass they hate it. The murder hornet is built to where it's going to be a little bit long on there, and so usually I'll go about the 3rd rib there where the appendages start, cut it off there, add in there, and it's a money maker.
Sweet, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and rig one of these up so you can see what it looks like rigged up. But the micro jig bite has been crazy good for largies and smallies for me. I've got a buddy down here that just swears by it, and he actually beat me in the tournament that decided Angler of the Year. I still won Angler of the Year, but he beat me in that tournament. I placed 2nd in that actual tournament because he was fishing a micro jig, and he caught an 18.5 inch in the last 15 minutes of the tournament on that micro jig. So look at that and tell me that's not just some candy right there.
That looks good. It looks real good.
I mean, and that'll hit river fish because it's small enough. It's not huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know a lot of times in clear moving water, a small crawbait like that and crawl it through the rocks, man, those fish, they just hammer that stuff. So that's really what I want to encourage people to do. Micro jig fishing, especially if you're buying like Bitsy bugs and stuff like that, man, they're fairly cheap. Like, you know, couple bucks, $3. You can get them at Academy, Walmart. Everybody carries them. The hooks are good as they come. You might put a little sharpen on them after you've caught, you know, a dozen fish or something like that, just to keep them sharp. But other than that, I fish two colors. I fish this color right here that you just saw, right? A green variant, and I fish a black and blue. That's it.
Yep.
There ain't nothing to it. You need a green with some brown in it, and you need a black and blue, and you can just take that to the bank. That's all you need. I don't fish white jigs. I know there's a lot of guys that fish white jigs. That is not my jam. Even if I'm fishing in shad, what I found is I'll get a lot. If I fish white, and especially in our lakes with a lot of shad, I will catch a lot of smaller schooling fish. I want those bigger fish, and those bigger fish are thinking protein on the brain, and they're a little bit lazy. You know, we've talked about this before. You know, if I told you, hey man, so you can have like a little popsicle, like one of them little popsicles you give kids, or we can get you a big large pizza. What are you gonna eat, right? Well, let the kids have the popsicles. Kids love popsicles, right? But that big old lazy guy with the gut, he wants that big pizza, right? Let me just sit here. You bring me that pizza, I'll eat that pizza.
I can smell it now.
Yeah. Those bass are the same way, man. You throw a crawbait at them, they're going to get so much more protein out of a crawfish than they're going to get out of a shad, and they know that. They can eat a couple of crawfish a day, and a lot of times be good. They got to eat a lot of those shad, because that shad is all oil and bones. That's ugh. Hey, I don't know. You know, bass will eat shad, but they're going to go out of their way to find a crawfish. That's been my experience, especially if you've got rocks. If you've got rocks and a good crawfish population, I had a guy tell me one time, he's like, that's a swimming candy bar right there. You drop that down there, you get that. You want sunflower seeds or you want Snicker bar? Well, that bass wants a Snicker bar too.
That's right.
You know, feed them a Snicker bar. If that's what they want, get them a Snickers. It satisfies. And Snickers, you guys can send that to 2510 Twin Reefs Court.
All right, man. You want to talk about? You have anything you want to talk about fireside wise?
Man, I don't think there's anything controversial that I want to bring up, but I think there is something worth talking about, and that is tournament camaraderie. So I think, you know, that's really been on show lately, and I think your guests are showing that, right? So the guys that we talked to tonight, you know, a lot of fellowship going on, a lot of house sharing or campsite sharing and stuff is going on. People are talking. They're not super secretive. They're not reclusive. We saw that in the Hobie BOS. You know, Matt and Guillermo are good friends, and they're good friends with Christine. And, you know, that whole group fishes a lot of tournaments together, but they don't always finish, you know, 1, 2, 3 like that. But seeing that camaraderie, there's a few people that I think get upset a little bit about it. They're like, well, they're sharing information. Man, we're all sharing information. We're all asking for information. You were pumping every one of these guys for information on your tournament this weekend. And you know what? They don't have to tell you. Nope. They don't have to tell you. But if somebody willingly shares it and they're like, you know what? Here's a piece of information, right? Then use it. I mean, there are no rules in kayak fishing about information sharing.
Let me just say, if Mark Edwards, Storm Carver, or Jeff Sisk tells me something, I'm going to listen.
Yeah. It sounds like if I was going to fish that tournament this weekend, I'd be fishing natural colors, maybe some green pumpkin, on a ledge near the lily pads at the back of the whatever, and I better get a motor before the event. That's what it sounded like to me.
Well, hold tight, man. I'm gonna bring up the panel. Let's see who we got here. All right, we got Marky Mark still hanging around. So
yeah,
definitely. Now you can help me out here, Chris. Maybe we can squeeze a little bit of information out of him. I can put in my knowledge book here and write it down. Maybe.
I think Mark's holding something. I started talking about jigs, and he disappeared and came back. What you got for us, Mark?
This is a little jig that I make. When you said micro jigs, this is what I actually won a tournament on this particular jig actually this year. It's I actually buy the head. I like the round ball head because I throw them in the river with current. And yeah, I mean, I heard football heads go through the rocks the best, but for me personally, these round head actually go through the rocks better. And I very seldom get hung in New River throwing it up in the river, and it's a 5/16 head, and then I put a full size skirt on it, but I just trim it completely up down here to the hook. And this is a baby goat trailer.
Yeah.
And I tried this out. I actually like the baby rage crawl the best, me personally. And you said the menace, they make a mini menace too, and it works really well. But yeah, clear water, man. Anything green pumpkinish, you can go a little darker, a little lighter, and it makes a difference sometimes. Just changing the collar, just a little bit of color change.
How's your hooks
This
on
is
those,
also
Mark?
another. What now?
How's your hooks?
Oh, these hooks. It's a shoot, I forgot the name of the Boss. It's a Boss jig.
Okay.
Yeah, so the hook is really, really good. It's high quality, and being a finesse jig, it's actually. I don't know how well you can see it. You can't really see it there, but it's a thicker. It's a medium grade hook. You know, it's not a big hook, and it's not a light wire. I mean, I still throw it on the same rod, 16 pounds sunline, and same rod as I throw with this jig. And this is the other jig that I make. It just the band of the skirt just come off from it. But I brought it in here to put another skirt on it. You know, just haven't got to it yet. But you can see this one's been used. Actually, the paint's all gone off from it. But as I was sitting here, the hook has hit a few rocks in its day, so.
That's a pretty good size. That's a pretty good size jig. What size is that?
Well, this is actually their finesse. See, this is a finesse head too. It's called their finesse jig, and it's got like a 4/0 hook, and it's the only difference is it's just a little bit shorter.
Okay.
I guess the way I got my phone set up and the way it's looking big, but it's not. It's just an average size to me, but I like it because it's kind of pointy, so you can actually swim it or on the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
but it's got a thick hook, man. These Boss stuff is really good stuff.
Do you have like a website or something that you can drop a link in the chat when this is over so people can check it out?
Nah.
Or
I don't.
they just
I don't. Nah.
No.
I mean, I get them from Tackle Warehouse. You know, I mean, is where I get them from. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You got to get on that affiliate stuff. You make a lot of money.
I'm gonna have to write that down.
Somebody else, but I mean, you got to get what you use. So.
Yeah.
Can't get everything from who I'm sponsored by. So.
And sometimes you don't want to be sponsored by stuff. So that way
Yeah, that's very true. Like when you're talking bait companies, you know, and I know I read it today. I got stuck in traffic coming home from work, and it took me like over an hour, like an hour and 15 minutes on a 45-minute drive. And I noticed Major League Fishing. You know, it just ended up, and the guy that won at St. Clair, he was throwing it was a Strike King. It looked like a Series 5, you know, XD, you know, Strike King. But he's sponsored by Spro. So, you know, he's not allowed to mention that. He said it's a well-known plug.
Well-known crankbait. Yeah.
Then you look at it and you can see the perch collar. That the perch collar Strike King has is real popular up north. And, that's what he caught most of his fish on. But it is what it is. He's got to get paid, so he's got to do what they tell him to do.
Oh, definitely. And let's want to jump back on Chris's topic here, and he was talking about fellowship and you know how guys get together, and you got into kayak fishing about 4 years ago, and how do you feel about it, Mark, compared to what your experiences outside of kayaking?
Yeah, the boat world was a little bit not near as open, and honestly, Jody just flat out tells you what he uses. I try to, but I struggle with it. I really do. I mean, I mean, I caught all my fish this week. My bigger ones was on a Cinco. I think I caught one. I caught one on a Ned rig. I think that was the two that I had my best 5 on. But it's so much. A lot of people ask about the lures, and a lot of it is your lures, but a lot of it's your presentation. Your presentation is actually more important than the lures.
It could
And
be the size
where
of
the
the
fish
line too.
well, that's part of your presentation,
Yeah.
and it's figuring out how the fish is set up and figuring out what the fish is doing. That's way more important than your baits. It's figuring out what, and I seem to do better when I can actually see a fish. I mean, if I see a fish, I can tell. I can look at one just for a minute or two, or not even a minute or two, just a few seconds, and figure out his mood and see what he's like. If he's active, inactive, did I scare him? And like them smallmouth, they're so used to people floating over them now in New River. There's so many kayakers now. They would move if you'd scare them, and then you just give them 10 minutes and they'd set right back up in the same place.
Right.
And I was making really, really long casts. And actually, the last 20 minutes of the tournament, I called twice. And with 2 minutes left, I ran right over to another one, and I made a cast, and it come up and just and just nibbled at my Cinco. It never ate it. If it would have bid, I don't know if I'd have got it in a picture in time, but it was still pretty fun.
It would have been nice to watch you try.
Yeah. And then it was I knew Blaine at the first beginning, he caught a 19 because we were side by side going from the ramp was the cutoff. So we were going upstream, and we just separated about 50 yards apart, and he catches a 19 in the first 15 minutes. Well, that, I'll be lucky to catch a 19 today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we fished, and he started struggling, and I get a limit, and then he disappears. He goes a little farther up than I do. So anyway, when he got back with me, we were about even every time we talked. You know what I'm saying? But there at the end, he had me by a little bit, and then I caught them fish, and we were loading up at the end, and he said he had 75 inches, and on the way to the check-in, we didn't have no service, so we had to drive a while before we could load our fish, and I got to figure, I was like, I'm over 75 inches. And I started laughing going down the road. I said, I hope he has 75. But then he had a 1/4 inch more than I did. Which we were teammates, and we lost by a 1/4 inch in the team challenge. It's fun, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the camaraderie with the kayaking people, it's way better.
Yeah,
way better.
it's like I was telling the
Especially
guys before you got on the show. I mean, I was talking to Jeff and Stormy, and I was teasing them. I was like, because go back to the cheat event when I was walking around and interviewing all the guys at their campsites and talking to them for that show a couple months back, and I come around the corner at the very end and watch Bunny putting the tent together. Come around there, and there's Rick tearing up his kayak, and you, Stormy, and Jeff all over there sitting there talking. And I got it on video. I can replay it. But, I mean, you guys were having a good conversation.
Yeah, we're more talking about fishing.
Well, hey, great show, guys. Chris, you want to follow up with something before we log off? We're approaching an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, just for you guys that I know we've had a few people inquire about stuff. Don't forget about our discount, Hero 10. That checkout will get you 10% off, and shipping is always flat rate, $5, regardless of what you order. So order more, get more bang for your buck. But we've got all kinds of stuff, and if you got customs or whatever you need, just let us know. I really appreciate all the orders. It's kept me busy, but I love being in the shop.
Sounds good, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Mark, wish you the best of luck on your tournament this weekend, and I look forward to talking to you Saturday night and see where you guys stand.
So we're going to know the standings after day one?
I don't know. I was
kind of wondering about that because, I mean,
Stormy ass as soon as I get off the water every time, and I'm like, I want to keep it quiet sometimes.
Awesome. Well, good luck, man. Wish you the very best. Chris, thanks for stopping by. We're going to go solo here. Hey, guys, we went a little bit over our time limit. Thanks for watching us today. We had Chris Payne from Payne Outdoors, Mark Edwards, professional kayak angler from southern West Virginia, and we had Storm Carver and Jeffrey Sisk, all from the West Virginia kayak anglers. They're battling for Angler of the Year. Thanks again for hanging out with us. We're going to log off and kill the show.